I got invited to an early screening of the new Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, but it's being officially released in the West on September 12th, and I am watching it on the 8th. Now here's the thing, I haven't actually watched Demon Slayer-ish. You see, I've only seen up to the Mugen Train movie, which is about 4 arcs back from the Infinity Castle arc. I didn't really keep up with Demon Slayer because I always found it a bit boring. I always felt like things were predictable and too simple. Not that I thought it was terrible, I just never believed it deserved the type of hype it got and thought it was carried by ufotable animation. So I always planned to watch it one day, but if you've seen the state of my plan to watch list, you'd know that day probably didn't exist. So how did I even get invited to a special screening in the first place? I'm not caught up to the show, I only have 1.6k subscribers, and I have an upload schedule that gives Corey Kenshin a run for his money. Well, I didn't. Ish. You know, the word ish is doing a whole lot of heavy lifting this video. Thank you, ish. You see, I go to college, and being an anime YouTuber, I joined the anime club there. Fork found and kitchen ass person, I know, shut up. And some members of the anime club at my college got invited to a special screening. Good morning, college anime club. On September 8th, we have been invited to see the new movie Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle. Exciting! The screening is free. The screening is free. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. So even though I was probably the least deserving person to be invited to a Demon Slayer screening, I decided I would become the most deserving. It is September 6th. I need to start watching Demon Slayer. I do have a little Tanjiro figure right here. I do have a little Tanjiro figure right here, so... I mean, I can't hate that much. So because I was starting at the Entertainment District arc, that meant I had to first watch its 11 episodes. Then Swordsmith Village's 11 episodes. Then finally, Hashira Training Arc's 8, making 30 episodes I have to get through before showtime. When is showtime anyway? On September 8th. So I have essentially 2 days to watch 30 episodes and catch up before showtime. And if this were any other time in my life, this would have been a cakewalk. However, I have a life and not 12 straight hours to spend watching only anime. So now my quirky episode incompetence had now quickly turned into a race against time. So I started binging the Entertainment District. And I quickly remembered some of my gripes with this show. It is only episode 2 and I am remembering some of my issues with this show. We push through, we push through. This is what I mean when I say it's just very predictable. Hello, Tengen. We all know it's you. We all know it's you. Tengen. 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 I was able to put in 6 episodes before I went to sleep for the day. While this was nowhere close to the pace I needed to be on, I didn't care because train! The next day, I was unable to watch many episodes because I was moving around a lot. And while I don't think you need the intricate details about my life, basically I was traveling from my house to my college dorm because I was home for the weekend, which meant I had to fit in all the time I could get. And while I couldn't record myself watching the show because I was watching it on my phone, I did take a minute to talk about it once I finished. And I'm gonna voice over it because the audio was really bad. This has been the best season of Demon Slayer yet. 8 out of 10. It never bites off more than it can chew, and it excels at everything it can chew. Unrelated, but while I was saying that exact line, a lady next to me started choking on the thing she was chewing. Literally the craziest timing I've ever seen. It excels at its storytelling, character building, and animation in a way that I guess I never really saw in the previous seasons. But on to the next. Also, I think it's a good time to say, face reveal at 10,000 subscribers. Whoa! Subscribe now! Okay, we're off the train. I got my dinner. I'm ready to start Swordsmith Village. Hopefully it'll be as good as Entertainment District. By now, it was starting to hit me that I was severely behind pace, and had to make it to an at least decent spot if I wanted to have any chance of catching up. So that night, while my roommate slept, I grinded watching episodes until my headphones batteries almost died. I am pushing limits right now. I just watched 8 episodes straight. This is all my battery is going to let me do.
Oh my gosh, guys, it is 10 in the morning. I do not feel like watching Demon Slayer. Oh my gosh.
I wanted to take a second real quick to talk about my thoughts for Swordsmith Village. At this point, I felt like I was watching a completely different show than season 1. I realized I wasn't watching the same slower paced story-driven spectacle I had called boring and simple back then. Don't get it wrong, the show was still predictable and I could still clock when and what was about to happen. Arcs were now being built up for fights rather than Tanjiro's journey. It still captured the character building magic from back then, but prioritized it only for fights now. For example, the main fight of the arc started way later in Entertainment District when they had less characters to go over. But in Swordsmith Village, when they had to introduce two Hashira, it started almost immediately so they would have time for both. But that didn't matter because...
Okay, so I just finished Swordsmith Village arc. It is pretty much 12 p.m., meaning I have 7 hours to watch a Hashira training, which is only 8 episodes, so I think I'm in pretty good standings. I mean, I do have a college class. Personally, I did give it a 7 out of 10. If I'm being completely honest, it probably would have been a 6, but that last episode was able to rise it up to at least a 7. I can't show you any of it because that would be like the biggest spoilers ever, but just know that last episode was pretty good. The reason it was originally going to get a 6 is because they were too focused on a fight and then doing a backstory rather than any type of story, which I don't think it's not very entertaining all the time. So that's why I was giving it a 6. But now I only have to watch 8 episodes. That's so doable. That's so doable now. And I have 7 hours technically. Not really. Let me actually look at what I have to do today. Looking at my college schedule. I am a college student, so today's Monday. I gotta go to class at 2 p.m. Which, it's not the best. 2 p.m. to 4, and then I have some downtime till 6. I think I can do it. I think I can do 8 episodes. I think we'll make it. I think we'll make it.
While even though I thought I was in an amazing spot as I had 7 hours to watch 8 episodes, all the binging took a toll on me and I sequentially took a break for
1 hour! I have only finished the first episode, but it is time to go to class. Yeah, I took a break because I just couldn't watch 500 Demon Slayer episodes at once, so I'll have to see how I'll get through these last 7 episodes in what is now 2 hours of free time.
Feeling a bit nervous about whether or not I would make it, I packed up and went to class. Also, I wanted to point out that this entire time I have been using pirate sites to watch the show despite having it legally on multiple platforms. That's because 1, it takes more resources to stream legally, and 2, a site like Crunchyroll has no speed playback capability. For some reason, they only have slow playback. Netflix has 1.5 times speed, but that was irrelevant when I was now watching episodes at 2 times speed just because my time was non-existent. But moving on to class, I found some time to watch while my teacher wasn't saying anything important. Although they were playing a very odd video that I couldn't help but pause to watch for a second.
In this videotape, you're going to see authentic female orgasms. 10 solid hours.
You'd be surprised how much men love this video.
Actually let us out of class early, so that'll give me a little more time. But I do have to go get food, so... But while I was getting my food, disaster struck.
I just read the update. I have 30 more minutes now. It's 4 right now. I got 1 hour and 30 minutes.
I was now down a crucial 30 minutes that I thought I would have. I immediately thought back to my burnout earlier. Had I just pushed through it, that 30 minutes wouldn't have even mattered. But I couldn't focus on that. I was on episode 3, which meant I had 5 episodes to get through before it was time to leave. And with getting my food taking an extra 15 minutes, I was left with 1 hour and 15 minutes to watch through them. However, once I got my food, I got back to grinding. And even though I'm a faceless YouTuber, I took the time to get these time-lapse shots, so I'm making a montage out of it. Cue the music. After enjoying my food while binging, I was able to make it through 3 more episodes. Then I had to go back to my dorm to prepare for the screening.
Here we are, entering the final 30 minutes. I got 2 episodes left. I've been grinding.
But what I didn't realize was that these last 2 episodes were longer than the normal ones. Usually the last episode in the arc is longer than normal, but this time it was the last 2. Even though I was watching at 2 times speed, I was still enjoying myself. If I had to criticize the newer seasons of Demon Slayer, I would say that they were turning into fight slop. But I didn't hate it. In fact, I enjoyed it. But that's only because of the time it took at the beginning. You see, in season 1, the author spent a prolonged amount of time world building and setting up the story. I had called it boring all the way back then because of it. But after getting to this point, I wouldn't be invested in anything I was watching if the author hadn't spent time doing that. Because of the time spent world building, fights hold monumental weight, and each thing gained from a battle feels super impactful to the plot. But none of that matters because by the time I reached episode 8,
Even if I watch at 2 times speed, I don't have 20 minutes. What am I gonna do? Okay, I gotta go. There's no more time, alright? I think I'm gonna try to watch it on the train there, but we're at 18:45. Okay, that's where I gotta pick back up. I mean, technically, I still have a whole hour and 40, but if I'm trying to meet up, I don't have any more time, so I'm gonna go.
so I fitted up and went down to meet my fellow moviegoers. Before Friday, I actually was not caught up with Demon Slayer, so I spent the entire weekend catching up.
You can infer between the lines.
They were not impressed. But while we got on the subway and made our way downtown to the movie theater, I wondered what I was gonna do. I was still half an episode behind. I tried to watch the episode on the subway, but we constantly had to hop train cars. To which I noticed that one of the guys here was more dressed up than I was. He had the whole Zenitsu robe, and I was just in an Ado concert shirt. But if this video gets generic, unrealistic number of likes, I'll buy a Demon Slayer robe because I am not getting one up by this bozo. I bet he didn't even watch 29 and a half episodes to prepare for this screening. He doesn't deserve it. Sorry, I'm supposed to be sad right now. We finally made it to the movie theater, but something was off. They weren't letting us in. I checked the time, and to my surprise, we were actually 1 whole hour early. While everyone else groaned, I cheered because that gave me the time I needed. And after a whole day of unfortunate circumstances, coincidentally. Okay, chat, I just completed it. I hit a buzzer beater. I'm not gonna lie, that ending was heat. And also, I have everything fresh on the brain, so this is gonna make it like 10 times better. Oh my gosh, I'm actually very, very hyped for this. All the flack that I was giving Demon Slayer, I think is completely gone, because I genuinely enjoyed everything I've been watching for the past 3 days. It has been a journey to get here. So, let's go enjoy that movie. And that I did. I went into that theater and plopped myself down into a seat, met the people around me. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably like one of the least deserving people here. Literally 3 days ago, I was only on the Mugen Train arc. I spent the weekend binging. I spent the weekend, yes, dedication. So
There are some people who would just watch the movie.
I know, but I want to be caught up so that way I know what's going on. At least they were impressed. But up until now, there had been one question that seemingly no one had a definite answer to. I asked multiple people up until now if the film would be in sub or dub. Do you guys know if this is sub or dub? Because we were told absolutely not. It's sub?
Oh, okay, bet. I would not like hearing the dub.
Surely if it's Crunchyroll, they'll do stuff.
At every turn, I was told that it would be in sub, but I had a sneaking suspicion that it wouldn't be. The entire time, I had been watching the anime in dub, because I had a feeling that the English release would be in, English, and while everyone thought they would be reading the entire film, I was the lone one who thought we wouldn't. And this was best personified when the film came on. After waiting a bit, when the first word was spoken, there was an audible groan from the audience. I was the only one out of the loop, and I was genuinely confused why. Because nothing odd had happened, but then after a moment I realized. To me, nothing had seemed off because that was how it had sounded for the entire weekend. Fortunately, I had the last laugh that day. Pro tip for anybody who wants to screen an anime: anime, if you invite people who are so down bad for anime that they join an anime club, chances are they hate dub. Like, we've been over this already. The fork doesn't fall very far from the kitchen. I would have recorded all of this, but they had a super strict policy on recording. The entire film, they had ushers in the theater watching the audience and had police on standby outside. Don't believe me? Here's me talking to one of the officers after the movie.
If you don't mind me asking, what was all the cops needed for? We had received a call from the movie theater.
So unfortunately, I don't have any clips to show you from the movie, but anyway, here are my thoughts.
First thing I want to say, the movie was amazing. 9.5 out of 10. The only reason it didn't get a 10 is because it's just a really long movie, like, which is the first thing. It's already broken up into 3 parts, and part 1 is still already 2.5 hours, which is crazy to me. Number 2, the other reason why it's not a 10. They did too much backstory. I'll be honest. They just kept going backwards. They kept telling the character stories instead of just letting the plot develop, which I really didn't appreciate that.
Quick editor's note. Right here, it sounds like I am saying that I didn't like the backstories, but that couldn't be any further from the truth. I love the backstories. What I was trying to say is that I think they just did it a little too much and a little too long. I'm just a little stupid and couldn't communicate my point correctly.
On the plus side, the fights were actually the best I've ever seen. Sound design, impeccable. I think it was also heightened by the fact that I was in the theater. But yeah, I for one am Demon Slayered out. I do not want to watch any of that for a long time. One thing I can say is that Demon Slayer is now in my top 10. Alright, the character development, yes, the character development. I went from hating this show, but over the past 3 days, it's really grown on me. Probably because I was force-fed it. I was force-fed it until I had to like it, but I guess I still ate it. I still ate it. I had a good time, so what did that tell you? Anyway, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Remember, 10,000 subs, and I'll do a face review. I won't have to blur my face like I am right now. But yeah, I'll see y'all.